Hello, and welcome to this afternoon's webinar on Meridian's Personnel Management Kiosk. My name is Melissa Harward, and I'm our marketing coordinator here at Meridian. Also on our Meridian panel today, we have Dominic Adebill, one of our industrial designers, and Paul Burden, our director of software. We're going to take the first couple minutes of the presentation to provide an overview of the Personnel Management Kiosk solution itself. And then the remainder of the webinar will be dedicated to question and answer session. So as we go through the presentation, feel free to submit any questions that you may have, and we will be sure to answer all of those as we get to the end. So starting off, just a little bit about Meridian. Meridian is a fully integrated manufacturer of indoor and outdoor kiosks, interactive digital signage, and self-service software. We develop all of our products and services under one roof, which provides greater efficiency and lean, high-quality results. So all of our design, engineering, manufacturing, hardware integration, and software solutions are all developed in-house. At our Aberdeen, North Carolina facility, we have a full-scale production facility, a 13-acre manufacturing campus, full metal fabrication facility, and we are ISO 9001:2015 certified, and also a UL self-certified facility. We're experts in ADA, FCC, and HIPAA compliance, and we have a full software development department that sits in our Mississauga, Ontario, Canada office. That's Paul and his team. Jumping into the hardware aspect of the Personnel Management Kiosk, the image on the right is the freestanding Personnel Management Kiosk. It's designed to help protect the health and safety of employees and their guests by helping to prevent anyone with an elevated temperature or those without access from entering a facility. Some of the features of the unit include temperature verification capabilities, facial identification capabilities, temperature threshold alarms, and it comes in an anodized aluminum finish with an optional antimicrobial powder coat. It's currently available in pedestal and countertop configurations, and a wall mount and pole mount option will also be available soon. So some of those configurations that I just mentioned, like we saw on the last slide, you have the pedestal unit, and you may have seen a very similar looking unit with a flat side. So the unit is actually double-sided. One side is round, the other side is flat, and the head unit is on a swivel, so you can face out whichever side you like the appearance of best. The countertop unit has the same design, just on a shorter pedestal. These are also available with or without graphics. So these graphics are Lexan laminated graphics, and they can be designed to incorporate your company branding, an image, a logo, etc. That's something that you're interested in. We can connect you with some of our partners who specialize in those services. Jumping into the software aspect of the Personnel Management Kiosk, the solution itself, right out of the box, comes equipped with a board-level solution. Some of those features include LAN and Wi-Fi connectivity, FCC and CE certification, a temperature variance of 0.9 degrees Fahrenheit, the ability to recognize up to 30,000 faces, and the ability to incorporate with voice prompts. A little bit more on those settings. So the screen capture on the left is what the temperature detection settings on the device actually look like. So some of those include a body temperature test, which allows the user, or the administrator rather, to select off and disable the temperature reading feature on the kiosk. So this would allow the user to just do the facial recognition capabilities. Compensation temperature calibration is also available to offset the red temperature and calibrate to environmental changes. An alarm threshold, which can be set to degrees Celsius or Fahrenheit, which is the value at which the alarm is triggered. A body temperature alarm that dictates whether or not an alarm will sound when a user passes or fails the temperature threshold test. Mask detection, which can also be turned on or off, and in the case that mask detection is turned on, when users check in with a normal temperature, it requests that they put on a mask before entering the building. And finally, stranger mode, When stranger mode is off, users are denied access if they are strangers. If stranger mode is on, registered users and those who are not registered are allowed to enter the facility and have their temperature taken. A little bit more, so another screen grab of what the back end of the software looks like. These are Meridian employees, and you'll see it includes their name, the type. In this case, they're all permanent Meridian employees, so it says staff and an expiration date of forever. It also includes their picture. Employees and other approved visitors are easily added to the facial database in a matter of seconds. If you're using the board level solution that comes standard on the kiosk, all of this is done at the kiosk itself using the keyboard and mouse combination that comes with the unit. If you are utilizing MZero Managed, which we will talk about on the next slide, this can be a remote upload can be done for the kiosks. So MZero Managed, like I mentioned on the last slide, MZero Managed is a remote management software solution that Meridian has been using on our kiosks for a number of years. However, a version specific to the Personnel Management Kiosk is currently in development and scheduled to be released very soon. This particular version is designed to monitor multiple kiosks in remote locations. It helps your kiosks running at peak performance and is ideal for businesses requiring system security and remote performance management. Some of the features include, as I mentioned on the last slide, the ability to add and edit a list of employees, import a list of employees, and pull reports on the classic MZero Manage user interface. And again, MZero Manage is not yet available, but will be available in the coming weeks. So now that we've gone through the overview of the solution, feel free to submit any questions that you may have, and I will address those with the panel now. The first question asks, where does the data reside?
I'll take that. So the data resides on the unit itself. So as you store employees for face authentication, it will store a photo of the employee on the device. Subsequent to that, as somebody approaches the unit and you have it configured as such, for guests, it will record the entry time and the photo of the guest. You can turn off guest record so that guests aren't recorded, and it will only record, in that case, employees. So store the photo, the entry time, the temperature, and you can export that data. It'll store about 1 gigabyte of that data. And also, when the MZero Manage is available, it will allow you to consolidate all of the entry scans from the units on a central dashboard called MZero Manage. And that's stored in a secure hosting center in Virginia, where it will be encrypted and stored in a customer's private database. There's also on-premises version of it. So if you want to store the data, the customer data on site, you can do that.
Next question asks, is the USB keyboard and trackball included? The answer to that is yes. Each of the personnel management kiosks comes with the keyboard and trackball. Next question asks, is there an open API we can access and integrate with?
Yeah, there's an open API through MZero Manage. So with your subscription, you'll be able to access and edit records for the employee database, pull entry scans, and manage configurations through the API.
Next question asks, can this interface with any other entry security systems?
Yes, through the same API that I just mentioned, there's the possibility to integrate it with pretty much anything. You just need some developers who can consume a REST interface. Our support team is here to assist with any integrations required.
Next question asks for branding options. Can I have the information of the vendor for branding the units? That can be, yes, if you would like to email sales@mzero.com, we can connect you with some of those vendors. The graphic wrap options, so the templates for those, are available to download on our website in the resources section. Next question asks, are these devices usable in other countries?
Yeah, there's nothing to stop you from using it in other countries. There's 16 available languages, so that will assist you in using, there's a list, a complete list on our PMK webpage at meridiankiosks.com.
Next question asks, how can it be secured?
The device can be secured by unplugging it, I guess, from the network. So if you don't want any access to the network, you can disconnect it if you choose. If you connect it to the network and use MZero Managed, there's encrypted traffic between the device and MZero Managed. So the data or the traffic is secured. So I don't know if they mean physically secured either, but it is bolted down to the unit. The unit's quite heavy. I suppose you could take further steps to physically secure the device as well.
Yes, I believe we're actually developing a new base plate that can be bolted down, so that can provide some more security.
The next question asks, what security levels are built in as far as encryption levels go?
We can enable encryption on the disk. Mind you that when the app is running and the system is on and it logs in, the device is unencrypted during that time. So it'd be disk encryption when it's powered off, so the system-wide. So if the unit's on, it has to unlock and allow the user in. However, in that case, there is a password protection to prevent you from getting into the system.
The next question asks, is MZero Managed a server application or a cloud application?
I'd say it's a cloud server application. So it's a server application that runs either in the cloud or on premises. So you can run it in your company if you wish. There's a different licensing model for that on-premises solution. So both.
Next question asks, if the Wi-Fi goes down, what functionality does the device retain?
The device will retain all of the previous configurations. So it'll still operate autonomously. However, it won't receive any new updates. So it won't receive any changes to the employee database if you've made any, and it won't report to the server until it reconnects any scans.
Next question asks, is there a master list of files of employees maintained anywhere besides the unit?
If you're an MZero Managed subscriber, the employee database is centrally managed, so that would be the other location. If you don't have that subscription, then it's only on the device.
Next question asks, what kind of support warranty is offered? So we offer a 1-year return to depot warranty. Next question asks, if a person tests high, can it notify management through an email or some kind of notification?
Yeah, so we'll build in notifications for MZero Managed. So that would be the way you get notifications, is through that subscription. And there'll be a number of ways you can receive an email alert, or in the browser, you can turn on notifications, and that will push notifications to your browser, to your system, even if you have the browser closed. So there's a notification process there. Also, we're looking at adding SMS messages as well. But I think we're going to prioritize the browser push and email first.
Next question asks, how does a single unit come packaged and what kind of setup is required by non-technical personnel?
A single unit comes packaged with the keyboard and mouse included. There is a power cable that is attached internally inside of the aluminum extruded pedestal. You don't really need any technical background to actually power on the kiosk and start using it. You just take it out of the box, plug it into power, and the screen should turn on, and you're pretty much good to go.
Next question asks, can you integrate responses to survey questions?
Not at this time. It's a non-touch screen, so there's not much capability to add additional features such as that because it requires some sort of interaction either by voice or by touch. So that is definitely something we're going to be looking at launching when we launch our Windows platform. So our Windows version of the PMK, it's not yet finished, but it's in development. We'll be able to propose and have you answer questions, and that would be either by touch or by voice, we hope. So once we get there, we'll know more details. We'll make more details available.
Next question asks, is there an option to print and dispense stickers?
I think we've been looking at that, but I don't think we have a clear route to that. But hopefully the R&D process will figure out how to do that with the PMK. Otherwise, if we can't, then it would be the Windows platform that would have that feature.
Next question asks, how is MZero Managed priced? It is $295 per year per kiosk, and that's an annual subscription. Next question asks, is there an additional cost for on-premises?
It would be the same price, I believe, except it would still be a subscription or lease price, but it would just be an on-premises version of that. But there's some other considerations there. I suggest you contact sales at MZero.com and speak with a representative about on-premises.
Next question asks, when the Wi-Fi network comes back up after an outage, is any action necessary to get the device working again, or does it automatically come back online?
Yeah, the device will boot up. It only takes a few seconds to restart. So if the power goes out for any reason and the device restarts, it will power up and be fully operational again within seconds.
Next question asks, how are temperatures logged and how are they exported?
Temperatures are logged in the application itself. So you need to go into the admin screen of the application to view the entry records. There's an export button. You can connect a USB drive or a compact flash to USB drive to the USB port that is available, and click the export button. It'll save a flat file to that disk or that portable compact flash card. The other method is to subscribe to MZero Managed, and that would give you a centralized view of all the reports that are uploaded in near real time, and it will aggregate all of your units if you have multiple units.
Next question asks, when will Manage be released and when can we get quoted? So the quoted price was given earlier, but I'll let Paul speak to the release date.
Yeah, it'll be early summer, so I don't have an exact date yet, but we'll release that information as soon as we do.
Next question asks, is the dry contact triggered once entry requirements are met?
That's right. So if there's a condition if they meet all the requirements, if you're enforcing the face recognition, then it would need to enforce the face recognition. Otherwise, it would just need the valid temperature in order to process. Then that's when the dry contact will close, triggering the device that's attached to it, such as a door or a gate.
Next question asks about the current lead time. Our current lead times are about 4 to 6 weeks. Next question asks, how long is data stored locally on the system?
Entry records are about 1 gigabyte of storage, so it retains about 3,000 records. So it depends on how frequently people are coming through your facility that would determine the length of time those records are there. So if you have 3,000 people entering per day, then it'd be 1 day of data. If you have a couple hundred, it'd be possibly months of data. So we're working on ways in the next version of the Android to customize the duration of time for which it's stored, or also have a purge option, so you can go in by process and delete data.
Next question asks, what is the cost of a standard unit? The cost, the MSRP is $3,150. Next question asks, when you state it can be integrated into access control systems, what specific guide or requirements does your unit need? For example, we use a proximity badge system, HID WiGand.
The devices will transmit the employee number if that is scanned and recognized, and transmitted through through the PMK out the WiGand connection. And if you have the integrated reader, it has support for IC cards in the format of MyFair. So you need MyFair format cards in order to have the integrated card reading solution. If you have a different method of card readers, please contact us. We can see if we can recommend a setup, but we probably need more details, such as the media that you're scanning and details on your security system, so we can ensure that it's compatible. The output is in WiGand 32 or 24-bit through the pigtail connections.
Next question asks, are both pass and fail results stored?
That's correct, both pass and fail results.
The next question asks, what is the database type?
The Android is proprietary inside the application itself. It's part of the app. Not using a database system. In our MZero Managed cloud environment, we use PostgreSQL.
Next question asks, how is temperature accuracy validated?
We have a black body calibration unit, so we use that to verify the scans from the device.
Next question asks, can extended support be added after 1 year? So we are not currently offering any kind of extended warranties for the Personnel Management Kiosk beyond that initial 1 year return to depot warranty. Next question asks, how is technical support handled by the vendor? So we have an in-house customer support team. And if you do have questions once you receive your unit, you can either email help@mzero.com, you can give them a call, or there is a portal on our website full of knowledge-based articles, frequently asked questions, and then you can also submit service requests there if it needs to be elevated to that level. Next question asks, what is the user registration like?
The process to register a user at the device where it's standalone would be you approach the device with the mouse or service keyboard, click the center button, enter the password, and then click on the face database. And then you would select the button to capture enter a new employee. You enter the name, the employee number, and then you click capture while the employee is standing in front of the camera, and then save to save the employee. That takes about between 30 and 50 seconds per scan. The process, if it's through MZero Managed, could potentially be faster if you have an existing set of employee photos. Through an import mechanism will allow you to batch import photos and employee data into the database, or you can manually enter it, in which case, if you have multiple units, that would spread out across all those units that are connected to your central management server. So if you have multiple units and they're standalone, you'd have to record the faces in each device.
Next question asks, can you explain how the guest or stranger mode works?
It's basically that you have employees that are known people, so the face is stored in the face database. And anything that is not recognized is considered a guest. So if you have guest mode enabled, if it's not recognized, it will still allow you to pass, but you'll be recorded as guest. If it's an employee, then it would also record the name and the employee number at the time of pass. So anyone that's not an employee is a guest. And you can deny entry to guests, and you can turn off guest record mode, so it won't record the guest, but it'll allow them to pass.
Next question asks, can the server run on HyperV?
Yeah, we can provide you open virtual format OVF. Virtualization image. It will come with Ubuntu 14.04, and you'll be able to install that into your data center, your virtualization environment. That would be if you're doing an on-premises solution.
Next question asks, is encryption available in transmit, for example, a badge swipe, and at rest once a swipe is processed?
Yeah, so the badge is contactless. So the contactless device would read the device, it would read the card if it's MyFair. It is transported over TLS 1.3. And if you have that configuration, it would store the database, the PostgreSQL database that I mentioned earlier in a cloud environment will be encrypted as well. So that's where the information is stored encrypted. So in transport and at rest.
Next question is piggybacking off of that previous question. It asks, is the information that cleared an employee to enter transmitted to anyone?
If you subscribe to MZero Managed, our data center is hosted in Virginia. So it's transmitted to that data center directly. It's not shared with anyone. Only Meridian employees would be able to access the hosted facility in order to do maintenance. So like OS updates, application platform upgrades, and we have controlled access through a backhaul VPN between our development center. So it'd have to be located in our development center in order to access our hosted facility through that backhaul connection. So we do take steps to ensure that the data is protected and only a limited number of people have access to the hosted servers. If you're concerned, I'd suggest looking at the on-premises options.
The next question asks, what is the expected lifespan of the device when used only indoors?
I think we're expecting these to last about 5 years. The warranty is 1 year, but the expectation is they'd last approximately 5.
The next question asks, how and how often does it need to be cleaned? So the Personnel Management Kiosk is a non-touch solution. So we do have instructions as far as cleaning and suggested materials go in the resources section on our website. It's an article, so all of those are listed out there. Next question asks, how does the alert work? Is it audio only, or are there other methods?
There's two modes for the alert. If you stand in front of it and you have a fever, there's an alarm mode, which will make a siren sound, and you can adjust the volume in the settings. So the siren is a bit louder than the other prompts that are done with voice, like a friendly voice prompt. So you can choose between if you want the siren or the voice prompt. And the voice prompt says something like temperature if you are over temperature, and the siren's like a siren sound that's very distinct. You'd be able to, anyone nearby would be able to hear that. Also, you can adjust the volume so that people around the corner or something can hear it as well to respond accordingly. So also you can turn it right off. Some people prefer to have the volume right off. So it would show a red alert, but it's done silently. So you can turn those alerts right off.
Next question asks, does the unit need to be monitored by an employee?
No, it can run autonomously, and also if you have the MZero Managed dashboard, you can view the entry history. So you can go back and look to see if there's any concerns and then respond accordingly that way, or go into the unit at the end of the day and review the entry records. Also, if you have it connected to a door or a gate, it could actually enforce the entry. So it will be, because if you don't have a gate or a door, then anyone, even if they had a negative scan, although that might generate an alert, you can respond accordingly. If you have MZero Managed, the door access, if you have that, would restrict anyone from getting in if they met, and there'd be less of a concern if that you could leave the unit more unattended that way, because you can be sure that nobody got through without getting scanned.
Next question asks, without MZero Manage, can we run reports to see who did not use the kiosk?
Well, the kiosk logs who used the device. So you can go into the entry records. So those who did not scan would not appear in those records. So you could use the flat file, and with a bit of code or manual, I guess you could load it into Excel and then do a vertical lookup or VLOOKUP table and figure out who didn't check in.
Next question asks, does the kiosk integrate with HID cards?
If they're of the MyFair format, yes. But if it's another type, then we think there's a way to connect them, but you'd have to contact their sales to verify, because there's different constraints with different media and different types of cards. So I don't want to say yes, because the answer is variable and it depends on what your system is. So please contact us and then we can make that determination.
Next question asks, is any data stored on the device if you have an MZero Managed subscription?
Yeah, the device operates the same way regardless of the MZero Managed subscription, so it will still store the device, the information on the device if you have MZero Managed. Although we're looking at having a mode where you can disable all recording of all devices if it's reported to MZero Managed. It would probably only then store if the device is offline for internet until such time it can report before deleting.
Next question asks, is there a plan to update your on-premises OS anytime soon?
earlier I said, I guess you're talking about the MZero Managed. Yeah, we use Ubuntu 14.04. We could use a later release, but that's the one we support now. You would be able to transition through regular upgrade means if you wish. And we do from time to time update the long-term support release. So we use the long-term support versions of the operating system.
Next question asks, if our images for face and user information are stored in Active Directory, can we set users up using that information?
Yes, the APIs that come with MZero Managed would provide a means to integrate the two systems. You might have to develop a script or some code to link your systems together. We can guide you in that process, and we can provide support for our APIs to make that happen.
Next question asks, how do we delete the entry logs on the system?
We've actually published an article in our knowledge base. So, and customers who are registered with our help desk can look at that knowledge base article and follow the process to delete application data and entry data.
Next question asks, are logs taken of strangers in stranger record mode?
No, so the stranger record mode needs to be set to off. Stranger record off, that will prevent recording of the strangers. So you need to have a version 1701 for that to work.
Next question asks, are entries recorded for failed temperatures?
Yes.
Next question asks, with MZero Managed, is an unsolicited connection required, or does the device call out to the cloud?
The device calls out to the cloud with a WebSocket connection. So the server provides a WebSocket service. It authenticates as a client. So as your IT security, you need to make sure that that WebSocket connection is allowed. We can give you specific host names to whitelist, and they'll be using port 443, which is the TLS 1.3 encrypted port.
Next question asks, is there a rescan alert feature?
No, not currently. It would log if the user attempted to scan twice or more. So you'd have that information available to you. I've never been asked to make an alert for that, but certainly we could look at that as a suggestion or a feature in the future.
Next question asks, can these kiosks operate outside?
They're exclusively for indoor use, and specifically they're not weatherproof or IP rated. Also, the thermal sensor can be impacted by direct sunlight or objects around it that have sunlight on them. But that said, if you offer it in a protected environment and it's free of the sunlight, some of our customers have been using it outside, but you have to keep it dry at all times, and can't have any direct sunlight or anything nearby that's hot.
Next question asks, can MZero manage export transaction reports? If so, in what formats?
There are flat files, and you can go into the device. Oh, is it for manage? I might have missed that.
For MZero Manage, yes.
Yeah, MZero Manage will have a CSV export option and also an API option to export. So you can choose either or.
Next question asks, if we use this device at several entrances, will the employee need to be scanned at each device?
Yeah, to create the record, yeah, if you're running in the standalone mode, you need to have the employee scan at each device in order to recognize them. But if you're using the MZero Manage, it would allow you to just upload the photo and it would propagate to all your devices, and there's no need to synchronize the data. If you're referring to entry points, no, you just need to probably scan at the entry, at time of entry, whichever door you came in, if that's what was meant.
Next question asks, do you have an API to integrate to ADP HRIS?
Yeah, the APIs that MZero Manage offers are not specific to any one solution, so it exposes all the features and functions of the device. So you would be able to integrate it feasibly with other software packages, provided they have an API as well, and you have developer to oversee that integration.
Next question asks, is the API support available for the $295 per year per kiosk price point?
Yes, through our help desk, you can access developers, you can ask technical questions and receive updated documentation and any knowledge base articles that we might generate as a result of developers using the APIs.
Next question asks, do you offer a trial period? And we are not offering demo or trial units at this point. All units must be purchased due to the incredibly large demand that we are receiving. Next question asks, if you have different devices in different facilities, can they be managed by different groups?
Yeah, we could provision different groups in the back end of MZero Manage. So you could have them completely different databases, or some of them would prefer to operate them together. So you could have all the databases in one. There's some access controls that would allow you to specific users to view data for their specific building. If you set it up that way, that's an advanced setup. It should be available in the first and or second release. I'm not sure. We'll probably know more in the documentation that will be available closer to the release on how flexible that is with the security and visibility amongst multiple buildings and access roles for individual users.
Next question asks, can the device screen more than one person at once? What happens when more than one person attempts to be screened at the same time?
So the device will only trigger the thermal sensor if there's a face centered in the camera's view. And when that face is centered in the camera's view, it takes up pretty much the entire field of view for the thermal heat sensor. So you'll only be able to scan one person at a time. But it does take only about 2 seconds in the default modes that you scan. So you should be able to proceed to the next person fairly quickly.
Next person asks, what is the average scan time per person?
About 2 seconds.
Next question asks, is there any FDA clearance being pursued with this particular scanner, i.e. 510K?
I think we're evaluating that, but this is not an FDA approved scanner at this time.
Next and last question asks, to create an automated recurring export from MZero Manage, would we need to make something with the API?
Yes, that's correct. You would need to pull the entry logs report through the API methods provided. And then, so you could create a script or something that generates the file you're looking for, if you're looking for some sort of batch update. And if you don't have developers, we could see about developing that feature for you using the APIs. So we might be able to connect you with somebody that can develop it or uses Meridian resources to help you through that process, depending on your preferences and availability.
All right. That is the last of all of our questions for today. Thank you to all of our attendees, and then of course, thank you to our Meridian panel. This presentation was recorded and a copy will be sent out to all of you via email 2 hours after the webinar. Again, thank you all for attending and have a great rest of your day.